Yeah, wonderful to get Hanny on the score sheet, and an outstanding goal from Aníbal. I think most importantly, response after the difficulties last week was paramount. And I thought there were some really good stages in the game. I don't think we started particularly well, and maybe a little bit of fallout from last week, but we got stronger, and there were certainly opportunities in that second period where, with a little bit more edge in front of goal, we may have extended our lead and found ourselves with 3 instead of 1. But at the moment, with so many changes occurring, we managed to get ourselves a point on the board, and I think the frustration will be about not winning it.
Thank you, Coach, for going to open up for all the questions. Can you go ahead, please?
Yeah, the fact that the team looked better, much better than today, against a very good team and a good rival. How does it make you feel in terms of whatever is being positive?
It honestly is the most difficult, I think, an uncertain period with, and I'll try and be a little bit more explanatory, with players that are in 1 minute and gone the next. We've had 2 weeks on the spin where we've planned on the Thursday for the game and lost a body in that, and a valuable body in the build-up to the match. We've also got, of course, other very important players on the sidelines. And I think just as importantly as all of that, we're just not able to get a settled and at times balanced side out. So I've said to the guys in there, look, yes, the frustrations are that we haven't won it, but I think honestly some of the output, the flexibility of some players, Alex had planned to play in midfield, and we ended up having to shift him to right wing back. And we know that he's going to be able to fulfil that role to a very good degree. But, mentally for some of these guys, things are changing so dramatically and so quickly. So it's not necessarily, the most favourable result in the world, especially being 2-1 up. And knowing that I think we could have extended that. What I would say is, there was a little bit of fortune as well with a penalty. It definitely was. And it was not a good start to that second period after we'd gone in, feeling great about ourselves. So I think all of the positives out of the group and the way they've reacted, certainly the determined nature of the group today, and some of the real decent football that we saw in spells, has been a little bit tempered by the fact that we've obviously been pegged back again and we haven't got full points.
Yeah. Gary, this is now the third time this season which you guys have given up a lead in the last 15 minutes of the game. I guess, what would you like to see the team do better in late games?
Well, I think there are many, many things that I could look at and say, okay, we should be able to see that game out. And whether that's down to some uncertainty at our end of the field, certainly some individual play that culminated in the cross for the goal. But we've seen in the past that this group are more than capable of seeing games out. However, if you look at the fact that probably 4 out of a starting back line 5, if you like, with Joe included, were not available tonight. And you start to realise some of the difficulties that the group's dealing with. That lack of relationship building, the calibre of the guys that we have out. 2 internationals in that, Shaq and Walker, unavailable to us in that back line. So it's not just about the group that go out there, who I thought did a wonderful job. It's also about the changes that we have available off the bench as well. We are very, very stretched at the moment. And I think the guys that have featured tonight have given everything they've got, but certainly there were some difficulties and some mistakes that were made.
Yeah, Gary, sorry, I lost my voice. 2 subs, I was asking about Jack. Obviously, you can see the penalty, and it seemed like maybe having a little bit of trouble in possession. Both was kind of the reason to bring him off, and then kind of similarly Sam at the end? Just legs for him or something?
No, nothing at all with Sam. I thought he'd given an awful lot. Those final stages of the game there were not just going to be about trying to get him behind, which we know Till's more than capable of. I just thought some fresh legs to try and, maybe shut the ball down, get behind the ball, ask a few different questions, a little bit of appetite up front. Jack's was very simple. He had a poor game. And I was worried on a card that we might end up with 10 men. So, it's rare that I'll bring a central defender out, that, unless they've been injured. It was not a good night for him.
This team, the goal to go up 2-1. What key positives came out of there, and how can that team copy that going into the rest of the season?
Well, look, 1-0, and I've got to say the set piece should have been dealt with a hell of a lot better. If you look at the other end just before that, we had a wonderful chance, and I thought that was a really good moment to go in front. Sadly, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Jack. But, the simple fact was that given where the delivery went into and the way that we'd set up, Jacob was actually underneath it. And I just think he misjudged the flight of the ball. There was no reason for that lad to be able to get such purchase on the ball, given the way we were set up. So at 1-0 down, and to be honest, not necessarily playing at our best, I thought the last 15 minutes was excellent. We get a goal. Jacob had warmed into the game in an offensive role, caused all sorts of problems in that first period, in the latter stages, and in fact was the catalyst for both goals. The first one, of course, ended up, working into a good area from the goalkeeper, I think, not getting a good fist on it, and Hanny was in the right place at the right time. But the second goal, there was a hell of a lot more to the finish than just the cross, and Aníbal makes something of, a pretty ordinary situation. Incredible finish. So to go in at the break 2-1 up was probably more than I expected, the way that it was unfolding for the first 30 minutes. The half-time chat was all about starting in a real positive vein. I thought the guys had turned the game around well. The opening exchanges were a long way from that. Giving a penalty away within a minute was not what we were after. And I think that in itself, when you've had some problems, you've conceded goals, you've had leads and squandered them, I think that emotionally for a lot of the players on the field starts to put a seed of doubt in your mind. But look, in the end, it's been a hard-fought game for both teams. As I said, we're missing a multitude of players, and in the end, I'm delighted with the vast majority of the group and the way that they've gone about their business.
Hey Gary, we talked to you a few days ago, and neither Tyler or Shaq were mentioned with any issues. So I'm just curious what happened there.
So Tyler he's been out on the field with us this week, but he's been carrying a groin problem. So he's been out working, and my hope was that he would be in a good enough position to be, at worst, part of the group. In discussion with him and the medical group, given the way he's been feeling and the risk attached to that, the decision was made between myself, the player and the medical staff to give Tyler this game, albeit in difficult circumstances, to have another week to try and recover towards Philly. That was a tough choice, I've got to say, because we are missing bodies, but it sounded as though the risk of Tyler doing something more serious was, very prevalent. Shaq we lost in the last 5 minutes of training on Thursday. We'd planned and prepared on Thursday for Shaq to be playing at right wing back, and he had a problem in the last 5 minutes in a session that was on the other field from me, which was I've got to say, a real body blow, given the players we got out. I don't know the full extent of his injury. He had a scan this morning. I'm in to talk to our medical group straight after this and get the full feedback on what that scan says. But I think, as I said in the early part of the conversation, right now we're going through one of the most difficult periods in terms of health of the group. You know, I don't remember a time when we've been missing 6 senior players. You know, you never want a player injured, but when you're missing mainline players, you can see the difficulties in trying to patch the group up and get a competitive team on the field.
Gary, you kind of just answered my question right away, but you mentioned different times and challenging team and whatnot. In your coaching career, would you say this has been probably one of your more challenging times as a head coach, specifically with this club?
Definitely here. Yeah, definitely here. I don't remember, unless anyone can correct me, I don't remember having such a run of players. I mean, you know, since we came back in pre-season, there were a multitude of players unavailable during pre-season. Hanny was trying to get over a foot problem. Walker was obviously coming back from his Achilles. I know Sean Davis pulled his calf, and there were a couple of others that quickly had problems. And I don't feel as though we've ever got ourselves back into positive territory there. When guys have got fit, we've lost other players. And of course, the Dominican game saw us lose the 2 front guys who were out for a period. And that has just been a constant issue that not only I, but the team have had to try and deal with. So, look, in many ways, I think they've done a great job of adapting to different setups and shapes and partners next to them, defenders, midfield players. You know, it's not easy to gain that continuity. So, look, we work towards getting the group in a healthy place and seeing what we can achieve with our best group on the field. And I hope that comes soon.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you taking
Thank
the
you.
time. Aníbal Godoy will be joining us shortly. Tell us about the goal.
Sorry. I waited for the question. Sorry. Oh, I don't know if I score other goal like this in my life. Really, you know, I am happy for the goal, but disappointed for the draw because we need the win. I don't care if I score really good goal. I want to win, but we have to now focus to the next week. This season start already. You know, we have so many games left. We have to wake up early to try to jumping in the table.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Obviously, you weren't there last week in LAFC, but after a tough loss, maybe not a complete game, but it felt like you guys were able to look improved today. How do you go from kind of taking those better moments and putting it together into like a full 90-minute?
Yeah, we have a really good reaction today about what we doing last week. I think we play against good sides. You know, Columbus for me, is the best team play with the ball in the league. 100%, no question. And in the first half, we're doing really well in the press. We recovered so many ball. In their half, but we don't finish well. But it's big step for us. And also, we have different shape today. The 5-3-2, I think, working really well. And I think we have to finish well the action. Also me, I think the last action I have before to go to the field, I think is the 3-1 easy. I missed that goal, and I think if I score that one, I think the game is over. But this is football. Now we have to rest and go back next week.
Aníbal, how difficult it is for players, I mean, even you that have been in the league 10 years, to play with a group of players, group of compañeros, when you're missing so many of them? How difficult it is for every game to actually get together and play as well?
Yeah, it's tough because we miss so many important guys in the field. I think when that guy recovery for sure. We have a really good step, but now we have a really good player also in the bench, and they have to adapt in every single moment, in every single game. This is why we have 25, 26 players in the squad. Every single player have to be ready to compete, and I feel happy for the guy play today like Josh. I think Josh have really good game. You know, Josh don't play every single game, and when that guy play, he do it everything. And today he put the best effort in the field, and this is why that question is really tough, you know, because we miss Randall, we miss Walker, we miss Lucas, we miss Joe today. You know, so many guys. I don't want to say name, but so many important guys we have in the squad.
Well, in January, you lost the Panamanian legend Luis Tejada from, and his signature was to score bicycle kicks, of course. So, how does it feel for you to score? I heard this week.
Yeah, yes. Yesterday is the birthday. Right after I scored the goal, I want to celebrate like how I celebrate, you know. But you know, I don't score so many goals. You know, that feeling is incredible. This is why my first thing is try to go with my family, you know, with my kid, because I always say to him like, I score tonight. I never score, you know. But this is the feeling I have right after the score. But it's really sad for me because we lose one of the best players in Panama, you know. But I think I scored really good goal for him.
Any final questions?
So, Aníbal, you were able to take a point off the defending MLS champions tonight, but you also gave up another late goal, or game time goal in the last 15 minutes. I guess what would you say you guys in the locker room are thinking more about right now, the positives or the negatives?
Yes, positive. It's positive because we know we play against one of the best thing in MLS. If he is not the best one, he's the champion. You know, the last year they have confidence, they have the right way. You know, every player have clear what he have to do. You know, in the field, and this is the more difficult because when you play against team have that confidence like 200%, you have to be ready for everything. You know, in the field, you have to think quick. You have to take the reading. You know, and the game's really fast, and they control the game. We defend well, but you know, this is football. When you don't have the ball and you have the score 2-1 and you have the chance to finish the game in the 3-1 and you don't score, when you play against things like this, they have one chance, they score, you know, game over. This is why we have to improve during the week to try to close the game every single week, like when we have like the last 10 minutes to try to close the game better.
Final question.
Aníbal, on that, I guess trailing one you made in the second half, where you nearly missed it, the goal on the outside of the post. Was it more on the outside of the foot that you missed it, or was it just the step? What was it?
I think in that moment I make like a long sprint, you know, when I don't expect that ball, really, and also it's my weak foot, you know, my right foot. But I have to finish well, you know. I am a professional player. I have to finish that ball because, well, like what I say, if I score that one, it's different game. We win 3-1 for sure, and the game is over. But I have to improve in that part.
Aníbal, have you talked to your son yet about the goal?
No. I expect crazy reaction from them. Yeah.
Look forward to
Thank you, appreciate it. Have a good night.